Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to my top 8 YCS Drytron deck profile. I have no words. This was absolutely insane. Um, yeah, I'm kind of in disbelief, honestly. This is my first ever top, at least at like a premiere event. So yeah, I was honestly expecting to just go day one X3 drop and play regional flights on Sunday, and here I am, top 8. It was insane. Day one, I went X2. I was 51th place after Swiss, and then I went day two. I just kept winning. I only dropped one game on day two, and yeah, I think I went 4-1 on day two, and then I went, what was I, 8? Or no, 6-2 on day one. So my overall record was 10-3. That seems right. Let me make sure there's 10 or 13 rounds. Yeah, there's 13 rounds. So yeah, I went 10-3 with this deck. Absolutely insane. I just kept winning, and I felt really good about it. So here I am with my deck profile. This deck profile is going to be a bit longer than normal, so maybe I'll put like a deck profile in the description if you just want to look at the deck profile. But I'm going to explain everything very thoroughly because I feel like I deserve it at this point. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say, so let's just get into it. So 3 alpha, 3 zeta, 3 gamma, 3 delta, 3 emergency, 5 ways to nova, 2 Fafnir, 3 nova, and a foolish. So if you count this up, these are 21 Drytron names. Yeah, quite a lot. The main reasoning behind me playing so many Drytron names is that I really just wanted to see 2 Drytrons. I play 42 cards, and the math behind it, this is 21 names. It's half of the deck. I have an 83, I believe. I think it's a little higher. I think it's like 83.6 or something percent chance to open 2 Drytrons in my opening hand. That's exactly what I want, honestly, is just if I see 2 Drytrons, I can typically do full combo, except if it's like Delta, Zeta. Or at least I can do something, you know what I mean? So that was the idea behind it. And quite honestly, worked out perfectly. The only thing that I would really change about this is Foolish should be beta, and not even trolling. That's probably what I would do if I were to play the event all over again, because Foolish Burial was a terrible card in my opinion. It's just not a Drytron name, so top decking this card is the worst thing ever. And honestly, sometimes you just draw like 4 Drytrons, and your Fafnir like doesn't really do anything, so it can't really send anything. In that case, like sending the beta is pretty good. I wouldn't use the beta effect like ever. I don't think it would have ever came up during the event, but having that 5th name could come up sometimes, especially because playing through a lot of hand traps is hard sometimes. But yeah, behind the Nova Fafnir, playing 5 is usually like the correct number because it's guaranteed, or not guaranteed, but like it's the math so that you can see 1 Drytron Nova in your opening hand and no more, no less. I mean, obviously sometimes you do see 2, but it's like the best math for it is really the thing. And this card's insane because Duel is like semi-popular. So this is probably the best card to play through Duel because it gets a body on the field, which is really, really insane. Nothing else to say about that. I think that's about it for the Drytron names. Moving on into normal summons. 2 Diviner, 1 Manju. So I think that this is probably the best ratio for right now. If you want the most utility out of your cards or just playing 3 normal summons. What I mean by this is that you're only ever going to activate and resolve Diviner twice, sending Entis Arclight, or I guess the other way around, but yeah. And then the Manju is just whatever. Usually you would just search this to search Ava or whatever. Like Ava searches whatever, but like Ava's banned now. So the Manju is the best card to probably fill that gap for the 3rd normal summon, or like the 3rd Diviner. And honestly, Manju is pretty good. The only problem is it's not like level 6, which can come up sometimes because this is a tuner and it makes Barone, which we'll get to later. But yeah, not much else to say about that. There's also a really cool thing about Manju. He's level 4, so you can make some rank 4 plays, but we'll also get to that later. Nothing else to say about that, I think, so let's move on. I guess we'll go right here. For rituals, Ben 10, Natasha. Okay, I need to dedicate a whole part of this video just on Natasha because of how broken Natasha is. This card probably won me half of my games, not even exaggerating. If you resolve Ben 10, search Natasha, and then you ritual spell Natasha, like, your opponent just loses. Like, I think every single time I resolved Natasha, I won the duel. It was absolutely insane. You can just bait negates, you can just force your way through boards. It was just the most broken thing ever. Would not change this. In fact, I might even play 2 because of how insane it is. Probably not. Honestly, I think playing the Idaten's probably the best way to go. But, like, it's insane. Especially because I believe Natasha can actually banish Natasha. Banish one other Cyber Angel monster from your grave. Yep, doesn't say except itself. So you could definitely play 2 Natasha and get away with it. I've never, ever tried that. I don't even know if that's a good idea. But with no like Beatrice in the deck, like this 6 doesn't really matter with the Idaten or the Ben 10 either, really. So it's like kind of whatever. But yeah, so far nothing I would change about this. It was just something funny to consider, I guess. Moving on, we have a Megalith package. So we're playing 2 full, Ophiel and Bethor. I think Bethor got summoned once. And it was more of a scare tactic than anything, really, having it in the deck. And a lot of times I would just side it out. Even if I just side out just the Bethor, because it's actually like pretty good. As far as the fulls go, if you resolve full, you're getting 2 to 3 interruptions just by activating fulls effects. It's absolutely insane. So you go full, target Ben 10, add back to hand, and then you go tribute, summon Ophiel from deck. Ben 10 searches either Lancia or Orange Light, or just any other like normal summon or whatever. And then you go Ophiel searches full. I guess that's forms of chains. So you go chain 1 Ben 10, chain 2 Ophiel. Then you search the full, and then full's now level 6 plus the 2 in hand, so this is 8. So you make Bethor on your opponent's turn. So that's like the idea behind it. It's actually quite synergistic. I think it's like amazing. Plus Ophiel's a level 4, so you can use Manju in this to make Dweller. So that comes up. It's pretty nice. Bethor's ritual effect came up once, but unfortunately I sided it out because I side this out usually for game for when I'm going second. But yeah, it would have actually came up, and I think it might have got me somewhere. I think I could have made like a Verte or something out of it, but I don't remember exactly, but it would have came up if I had it in my deck, so I unfortunately sided it out. But nothing really else to say about that. Oh, it's pretty cool that you can full summon full, target Ben 10 and add it back to your hand, so you have a pretty good follow-up for the next turn when you do set out the Bethor. So that comes up sometimes. Last ritual in the deck is obviously Draconids, and then we play the ritual spell. Nothing to say about these. These are pretty good cards. Except I guess I should talk about Draconids. Draconids didn't even come up today. The idea behind it is that your deck kind of loses to Scythe, but not really. So you can make this as a backup plan, and then you can go Draconids, just punch everything, and have like an interruption on your opponent's turn. So that's like the idea in theory. Just didn't come up though. I'm kind of glad that I had it though, just as like a utility there. I got Scythe once today, but like I didn't search this because I just had evenly. And then like I couldn't really do a whole lot else because they had Darklaw, which I'll get to my matches at the end of the video. Lancia, this card's insane this format. I just play one though because it's searchable. Not gonna say about this. Obviously, like searchable by Ben 10. Throughout your combo, you get 3 Ben 10 searches. You get the initial one, which usually searches your normal summon. You get the full one, which searches anything, usually Lancia. Sometimes it also searches Orange Light just to make sure your combo's safe. You can also search this as the first one to make sure you're safe playing around Nibiru or something like that. And then your third search, you can just do like whatever. You can search like Idaten or Natasha just for follow up, just to make sure you're like good to go for the next turn. So you can like Alpha Tribute it, search Zeta, like get Medionis back, you know, make Natasha break the board, etc. Just in case if they break your board, but that never happens. If I establish my board, my opponent usually just scooped, or I just killed them on the next turn, like without like doing too much. So yeah, Orange Light I wouldn't change. I don't think you could if you really wanted to, but like it had enough utility where it was worth playing. Either searching it at the beginning of your combo so that you're safe through Nibiru, or searching at the end of your combo so you just have an extra interruption. So either of those scenarios were like insane enough for me to justify playing the orange light. Just one though, you don't ever need a second one. Don't play two, please. Yeah. Red Ice Fusion and then the bricks. Shoutouts to Brian for the Dark Magician. Obviously, I bought it from him a couple months ago, but just still want to say shoutouts to him. Yeah, it's insane. I saw these bricks a couple times. Drawing the Red Ice Fusion actually just wasn't bad. There was one time where I had Red Ice Fusion and like Appaloosa. I just like Appaloosa passed, and then I think I had another interruption, and then on my turn I just activated Red Ice Fusion, and it was basically came from there, which is really funny. But I'll talk about that later because it includes a card in my side deck that's a little spicy. 3 droplets and then the 1 call by. Nothing to say about this. Although honestly, I don't think I saw call by at all throughout my event, which is I saw it once and I was discarded for Dragoon. Droplets are just kind of like medium. They had medium impact. I might drop one from the list because there was a lot of times where I saw a double droplet, and it kind of sucked. But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe playing the 3 is proper, but like I don't know. I guess it needs some experimentation. So yeah, for now 3 droplets fine. I wouldn't change it. I guess maybe I would if like I had to redo the event all over again, you know. But yeah, for now it's good how it is. 2 Fafnir. Shoutouts to Omar for getting me the second one because I ended up losing mine at locals. Don't know where it was. Called them, they didn't answer, or they answered but like they didn't have it. So I was like, all right, luckily it's not an expensive card, so I just picked it up again. Downer Zeus. This came up once and I'm pretty glad it did. Won me the game, so no complaints there, I guess. Dweller. So this came up twice. It's pretty good. You use Manju Ophiel to make this, and then it's pretty good against Prank Kids, pretty good against Sword Soul, pretty good against, I don't know, everything. It's got some pretty good utility, so I like Dweller. Shout out to the ulti. Why not? Arclight Entis. Speaking of cards that like rarely came up, I guess Entis never came up at all. If I were to play the entire event all over again, this should be Phoenix. Although Phoenix like wouldn't have won me a game if it was in my extra deck. It just would have been something nice as you like utility. I would have rather had it. But yeah, nothing else to say about that. Entis like kind of sucked. I'm kind of glad it was there because like it's nice to search like a searchable pop, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. Arclight does the job. Manju does the job usually, so like I don't think you really need the Entis, but that's just my opinion. It's just a nice way to out Zeus sometimes, which I never had to play against. Barone, you can make this with Ophiel and Diviner because Diviner's level 6. And a lot of the times your opponent doesn't expect this coming out, so you just play around Nibiru naturally. It's insane. Your opponent's like, oh, I'm going to wait for like him to like go into Verte or something, and you just like pop this on the board, and then they're like, oh, I can't use my Nibiru. That happened to me like 2 or 3 times because they didn't know what my deck does because this combo's very obscure. I made Barone, and then they're like, oh, Nibiru, and I was just like, okay, negate. And then I was fine, so it was pretty nice. The really nice thing about this combo is that like it plays into Nibiru, unfortunately, but the really good thing is that if you do get Nibiru, you can usually still end on like 2 or 3 interruptions, so that's what's really nice. Linkuribo, IP Appaloosa. Linkuribo is absolutely mandatory, but these cards were busted. If you draw Nova instead of drawing Alpha and then you have Zeta in your hand, you can end on IP as well with your end board, and then IP can make Appaloosa on your opponent's turn with Verte. And you have 2 free negates, sometimes 3 if you use like more cards, but rarely comes up, I guess. Insane. There were also a couple times where you get interrupted, or like you have like 4 monsters on the field and you know your opponent has something, or like they have a negate on the board or something, right? You just turn all 4 of your monsters into Appaloosa, and then you have like Natasha and Grave, and you can like Natasha just take their board. And so like Appaloosa was so broken throughout the day, it was just absolutely insane. Would not change any of these 3 cards. They are insane. Honestly, my extra deck was like relatively perfect outside of the fact of like Entis, which I might change in the future, but for now I think it's fine. Unicorn, Access Code Talker. I guess another card I might change is the Access Code Talker. If I were to play the entire event all over again, identically, this should be Boral Sword. The reason I'm playing Access Code Talker, it seems really stupid, right? Because like all my links are dark except for Appaloosa being wind. But the reason I'm playing it is because it's a natural way to out skill drain. Like if you're playing against Eldritch, which I was actually expecting to play, but I played against none of them. This deck just actually has a pretty good Eldritch matchup because all of the Drytron effects activate and resolve in hand. So like skill drain does nothing for the most part. But if you do make the Access Code Talker, then you can banish it for cost and then target the skill drain, and it's not on the field, so it's not negated, then you just pop skill drain. So that's the idea. Since it never came up, this should probably be Boral Sword. So yeah, I never used Access Code Pop once, I believe. I don't think I ever did it, so probably should be Boral Sword. But the nice thing also is that this is 53 and then Baron's 3000, so that's 83, which is game. But the other thing that sucks is it's 73 if you have any other Drytron, which never came up, but just something to note. Last 2 cards, most broken cards, Verte Dragoon. I got drolled a couple times. You just end on Verte, make Dragoon, win. It's pretty nice. There was one time where I had a board. I was up against what's the card? The Griffin Rider. And he was gonna negate my Zeta. That was like the way he was playing, because I went like Alpha Effect, Tribute, Search Ben 10, and then like, because like if I don't get access to Ritual Spell, I can't exactly play. Like I can't use like Natasha to break the board really. Like you can, but like it's like clearly easier to do it that way, right? So I just baited the negate, because I went Verte with Manju and Link Kuribo, and then I was like, okay, Verte pay 2000, send her Nice Fusion, and then he was like, Griffin Rider negate, and I was like, okay, sure. So you know this got destroyed. I had Alpha on field, and then I went, okay, Zeta Effect Tribute Ben 10. He was like, yup. Made Natasha and broke the whole board. So like it was really good to break the board there. Dragoon's like just broken, so good. A lot of times I got Nibiru'd, and then they were like, okay, his turn's over, and then I go like, okay, Gamma Effect Engrave, Tribute, summon, turn these 2 to Verte, summon Dragoon Effect Pop, the Nibiru, and then sometimes if I had another extender, I'd turn the Nibiru token and whatever my extender was into IP, obviously before I make Dragoon, duh. But then on their turn you can just make that into Unicorn or Appaloosa for like 2 more negates. So it felt really nice, especially because a lot of times I played through like 2 hand traps and was still good to end on like IP Dragoon Lancia, something like that, you know, or just like Lancia Dragoon, which was usually enough to get me there. Now, for the spicy part, I guess we should go like less spicier cards first, and then more spicier towards the end. So I guess we'll start with 2 Lancia. This should probably be something else, but like at the same time, it's just so good, this format. So it's like, it's hard for me to decide, but like it's just searchable. I never once searched Lancia twice in a duel, so like, I don't know. It's just really good going like second. You can just activate this in standby, and then your opponent can't use like the Aquamancer or Water Enchanters, whatever it's called, to like get their like Wandering Griffin Rider engine started or whatever. So like that's kind of decent. Yeah, nothing to say about that, I guess. I don't know. These could change, whatever. For the 15th card that was in my side deck is Lightning Storm. It's just a one of. I just had 1 extra space because the Lancia is in the main deck, and then I play 3 ofs for the rest. So, it was great. Nothing to say about the Lightning Storm. It was great all the way around. Sometimes I drew it, and it was good to see. I never like drew it and like hated it in my hand. So, shout outs to Lightning Storm for being cool like that, I guess. 3 Cosmic came up like once, sided in against once. I'm glad it was there, but it didn't really have a whole lot of impact. I think I managed like cross out, which is like whatever. So yeah, glad it was there, but didn't have a whole lot of impact. Next card, Lava Golem. So ironically, there was one time where this came up, and it was really bad because like I could have broke the entire board, but we went into time, and he went Long Wand, burn me for 12, still his turn, and then he ended main phase, and what can you do, you know? But I had this and the next card in my hand, which was absolutely breaking his board evenly. So yeah, he ended on like Chaofeng, and I was like, Chaofeng something else, maybe Barone, I don't remember. And so I was gonna just like Lava Golem him, activate evenly, and then just like build a board and pass. And like that game was absolutely mine. I drew like multiple Drytrons as well. My next draw card was like really good also. So yeah. Nothing to say about that, I think. Then the last three cards in the deck are 3-pointer. These cards were like absolutely insane. A pointer was like just like so good. Every time that this card resolved, I won the duel, which was like amazing. I don't think there's anything else to say about that. But like, oh yeah, sometimes like I got like Nibiru'd, and then I would go summon like Verte, make Dragoon, set this, and then I like knew their entire hand. And so I could basically just figure out what to negate with a Dragoon, and it was usually enough. Yeah, every time that this card resolved, it was game. It was so good. That's it for the deck, really. I guess we could go over my matches. So round 1, I had a no-show, which was just a free win. Yeah, a lot of people got like buys because like they didn't show up on time. It was like really random. I don't know. Kind of sucked, but because like it like really, it was really weird because it like kind of skewed like how many players had like wins, like more wins than normal. So it was like really weird. But yeah, round 2, I went 2-0 versus Hero. I had like a okay brick kind of in game 1, but I resolved full, so it got me to full in Barone, which made like I could use I could summon Bethel on my opponent's turn, and then I had the Barone negate to like make sure it went through, so it was like plenty. I think I also had Lancey in hand. I don't remember. That was like the second, technically the first game I played. And then game 2, he was playing like a really weird version of Hero. So he ended up on like Scythe on the end board and like Savage and some other stuff. I think TPE. So he scythed me, and then he had Dark Law, and I went like evenly. I broke the rest of the board because I baited the Savage, and then I just won with like Zeus after that. I couldn't like make Zeus until the next turn, so he like hit me with like Dark Law, and then I like made Zeus the next turn. And then I just like attacked like Dagda or something. I don't remember exactly, but like I was still able to break the board. Round 3, I played against Trap BA. I made the full board game 1, and so like I didn't know what I was playing against. But game 2, I just figured that like Lancia and like Lava Golem were just really good in the format normally, so I just put those in. Drew evenly, so I just like evenly him when he had like 4 set cards, and so it felt really nice. Yeah, round 4, this was my first loss. It was versus Dragon Link. So I went full combo game 1, didn't know what I was playing against. Game 2, he Talents me and ripped my hand and like took the best card out of it. I don't remember what it was, but it was basically game from there. Then game 3, I had a disconnect, but he had like everything. He had Valor, Nibiru, Droplet Ogre. I think I had a chance because I had like I had a couple Drytrons in Grave, and then I had like Diviner. I could have like Diviner, normal summon, searched Natasha, and then like got like my Zeta online, and then like summoned my Natasha. There was like a very specific line where if he like ogred Diviner instead of Valoring it, then like it would have been game. But it was just so random. Like I don't think that he would have done that. So I think that there was a potential for me to win there, but I got disconnected, so they gave me a game loss for that. Round 5, I went 2-1 against Striker. So I didn't open well in game 1, so I didn't want to show him what I was on, even though like his hand was just medium. Like, but he had like Engage in hand, and my hand was just not very good, so I didn't want to show him what I was on. So I was just like, all right, let's go game 2. And then game 2, I made Dragoon, and I had him Pointer, which I ripped his hand, and Striker can't deal with Dragoon, so he scooped. Game 3, he kind of bricked. Kind of, not really, but I just used Natasha just to like take the Shizuku so he couldn't get Ray back, and then I just like made like access code in 1. I think I might be misremembering that, but just like Natasha just like took his whole board. It was just like taking the Shizuku at least. Round 7, I went I lost against Tenny Sword Soul. I had it insane like back and forth in game 1. It was like probably like a 30-minute game. It was like really long. But he ended up getting the win there, which is really unlucky. And then game 2, I played into Nibiru. but I was still able to end on like Dragoon, and I think I had IP and a pointer in hand, so it's like literally everything. I could make an Appaloosa on his turn for 4 negates, and then I had a pointer that could have obviously like ripped the rest of his hand, so it was really good there. Game 3 we had time, and unfortunately that was where he went long one and then just burned me for game. That was the game where I had the lava golem and the evenly, so yeah, it was kind of annoying, but time rolls. Nothing really to say about that. Sorry if my screen is dark, by the way. I just have my light off because it gives a glare, just by the way, if you were curious. It's just getting dark outside. That's the only light. Anyways, round 8, I went against Dragon Link. Game 1, I think he went first, so I just Natasha just took his whole field and then just won. It was so good. This deck's just really nice at going second because of Natasha's existence. Game 2, I couldn't break his board because he went first, and then game 3, I had Dragoon and Barone, and they just like were 2 Omni negates that just carried me. Round 9, day 2, I went against Venture Tenry Sword Soul, so I full comboed him, and then I had Lancia Herald, and he nibbed me at a really bad time when I had Barone on field, so I just negated it, and I was fine. Game 2, he had Chowfang, and I bricked like on like 3 droplet, or no, it was like 2 droplet evenly Lava Golem or something like that, and then like 1 Drytron, and I was like, okay, I can like droplet this, and then I like can't play, so it was really unlucky. Round 10, I went against Dragon Link Adventurer. I won that 2-1. So game 1, he made Appaloosa, and then I used Natasha to take his Verte, and then he just scooped it, and I was like, okay, because like I was gonna Verte send Red Ice Fusion, but he just scooped before like I gave him the chance, I guess, and it was just so weird that he scooped without seeing what I was playing. So I don't know, it was just kind of random, but yeah, it was really funny. Where am I at? Sorry, I have like a document printed, but or like a notepad, but yeah, game 2, I had Lancia, but I drew like 3, like the droplet evenly, like Lava Golem or whatever, and then I had like a Nova, so I was like, okay, I can maybe make Verte, and then I got ashed, and so I didn't have anything to play through that, so I lost, and that was he went first that game. And then game 3, I played through like Ogre and Ogre Imper. But I still ended on Lancia IP Dragoon. And so I could make Appaloosa on his turn. And so it was just so good being able to make like 3 interruptions on his turn. And then we went into top 32. I got a 2-0 win versus Dragon Link. Game 1, I Dragoon and had Lancia. I think he had like Nib and something else, probably Imperm. But I was still going to obviously make the Dragoon, which was enough. Then in game 2, I was expecting him to go first, but then he made me go first, which was really weird, but I only drew Droplet, I believe. And then like the rest of my hand was just gas. So I was completely fine with that. And I just like, I don't think it was actually like that good. I think I had like Gamma Zeta. It was a weird combination where I couldn't make the full board, but I could make a pretty decent board. And I don't think he had any hand traps. And then I just like set like Droplet, and then it like carried. Like it was like Barone, Dragoon, Droplet, and then like Verte on field. And that was enough to get me there. So it was like really nice. Top 16, I won 2-1 versus Adventurer Virtual World. So game 1, I had Lancia, and then for his turn, and then he kind of just made a medium board, and then that was the game where I baited him with Verte, and then he uses the Griffin Rider to negate, and then I just took his whole board with Natasha and made Appaloosa and access code just for game. Game 2, he ended up I bricked, on a double Droplet, so yeah, I drew double Droplet so many games. Game 3, he had Imperm, but then I just made Dragoon Dweller, and I had Orange Light Lancia in hand, so he had Droplet for like my Dragoon and my Dweller, but I just activated Orange Light on I can't remember, it was something he activated in hand. I think he like E-Tallied or Lulu, and then he like activated a Virtual World, and I went, okay, Orange Light, and he had one other card in hand, and I was like, it has to be like a broken card for him to keep playing, and I figured it wasn't, like I just had the assumption, and it wasn't, and he like went end phase, banished Lulu because of E-Tally, and then it was my turn, and I just won. So it was great. Top 8 was the last game I just played, and I ended up losing. It was Adventure Prank Kids. He 2-0'd me, unfortunately. Game 1, he just had the full combo. he ashed my alpha and then I activated Red Eyes Fusion. The judge said I couldn't for some reason. So like we had like an appeal or whatever go on, and then like they were like, yeah, you actually can do that, and I was like, yeah, I know, like I know if I don't summon, I don't summon, I can use Red Eyes Fusion. So it was good that happened, but unfortunately I couldn't do anything because he activated what's the card, the link to the link to that protects them by card effects. Bow wow. So it protects them by card effects, so my Dragoon couldn't pop anything. And obviously I couldn't normal summon for the rest of the turn, so I went battle phase, droplet, or like attack, and then I used droplet, and then he chained his droplet, and I was like, I could negate here, like with Dragoon, but like I only had one. I think I had like 2 cards in hand, and I wouldn't be able to have a follow up, and then the next turn you would just kill me. So I was just like, all right, let's just, you got it. Let's go to game 2. So game 2, I bricked on like, I drew like 2 or 3 Megaliths, Natasha and Manju, and Dark Magician or something like that. It was a no Drytrons. That was the only game where I drew no Drytrons. Like usually I was able to draw at least a single Drytron to like be able to play, but that time I just didn't. But yeah, that was it for my tournament report. That was my top 8 loss. Sorry if there was like a lot of me talking, but I just wanted to go through everything, be as thorough as possible, I guess. I might do timestamps or something, so it might be a little easier. I haven't exactly decided, but for shoutouts, obviously shoutouts to Omar and Brian, like I said earlier. I really wanted to say shoutouts to Alonzo for like talking to me in between rounds sometimes and just like giving me just good moral support. Super cool. He spectated a couple of my matches, just a few. And then he was like, well, that was a really good play. It's super cool. So shoutouts to him. Shoutouts to everyone on both of my Discords, both the Southern Utah Yu-Gi-Oh community and then my personal Discord. I guess personal shoutouts to Bulba, Conman, Hexagon, Miko, Goofy, and Aqua, Theo, and everyone else. Sorry if I missed you, especially people on the Southern Utah Discord. I guess I didn't really mention them, but yeah. Other shoutouts to my wife Emily. She's super cool. That was a token she let me borrow, so it's really funny. But yeah. That's about it, honestly. So leave your questions in the comment section below, I guess, if you want me to answer anything. Sorry if the screen's really dark. It's getting close to nighttime, and I guess I'm too lazy to go turn on my light. But appreciate you guys watching, and I will hopefully see you guys again later for maybe another top sometime. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys.